Goals today. Look at West Coast, 4 goals in the first quarter, then 8, 4 and 4, and for Essendon, 2 in the first, then 2, 3 and 2. West Coast by 75 points over Essendon. That's Essendon's biggest defeat of the season. West Coast certainly gathering strength. Well, the big upset today was before 24,000 people at Waverley Park. Richmond with Campbell, a late goal, one of his 4 goals, getting up to beat Carlton, 19-9 to 17 goals 18. Hogg got 5 goals for Richmond, Campbell 4, and Stephen Kernahan, who was one of 3 players playing his 150th today in the Carlton colours, kicked 4 goals out of Carlton's 17.
Time now to check the CUB AFL 1992 Premiership Season League ladder.
Movement in the ladder today. Fitzroy have moved up. They haven't played in this round so far. They go against Melbourne tomorrow. Carlton's won just 1 of its last 4 matches and have slid out of the 6. Richmond moves up 2 places. They're 11th at the moment. Believe it or not, that's the highest position they've been this season. Okay, that's the ladder at the moment, and you'll take note that top plays second tomorrow. We'll take a break. Scotty Palmer after this.
SIO's House and Contents Insurance Package has special low rates for retired people. Call for your free copy of SIO's Buying Guide. SIO. Insurance as it should be.
For a limited time, selected Black & Decker drill kits come with a spare battery pack. So now you can keep drilling. For an unlimited time, Black & Decker. Someone's thinking.
Right now at Noble, you can get this Channel 7 sports bag for just $9.95. All you have to do is buy a fuel and a Mars or M&M's pack 4 times and the bag is yours. Guys. You can also get a return trip to Hawaii flying Northwest Airlines for only $199. The Channel 7 sports bag from Noble, for all good sports, where you see this sign.
If it only saves you once a year, it's a good year.
So have a safe winter with Goodyear's Winter Safety Savers, a half-price safety service that gives you a grease and oil change, 4-wheel balances and rotation, battery check and a 20-point safety check, normally $60, now only $29.95. And save Aussie steals from a low $66.
So see your Goodyear retailer now.
Good tires, good service, good people, Goodyear.
It's environmentally friendly.
It's an unleaded pencil.
The favourite family show on TV.
Having a ball.
Join Anne-Marie and Agro on the main event, 6:30 Sunday.
Father Darling's back with Sister Steve in all new adventures that will keep you guessing to the very end. Tom Bosley stars in Father Darling, 7:30 tonight on 7.
Welcome back to AFL Today. Let's go down to the offices of the Sun Herald Sun. Scotty Palmer's down there. Good evening, Scotty. How are you?
Terrific, Bruce.
What about Wayne Schimmelbusch? How's he tonight, Scotty?
Not too good. None of the North Melbourne officials are. They say the better side lost today. Take that any way you like, they say. We asked them then whether they thought the St Kilda grandstand had anything to do with some of the decision. They said it was very vocal, wasn't it? So behind closed doors, there's seething about some of the umpiring decisions down there at Moorabbin. And
Wayne Carey reported today for the second time in just a few weeks.
And they're upset over that too. He was reported by the emergency umpire for striking Russell Morris. And a few of the North Melbourne people aren't happy about that either, Bruce.
OK, so no joy for the old shin boners, the Kangaroos tonight. Moorabbin, St Kilda, they've got some sort of a record down there this year.
5 home starts for 5 wins, and you can appreciate why many of the supporters want to stay down there. But the club are going to organise a press conference on Tuesday to put their case on the move to Waverley, Bruce. Rick Watt pointed out today that the St Kilda feel that the AFL have a plan to do away with one of the Melbourne-based clubs in the next few years, and St Kilda doesn't want to be one of them. And Kenny Sheldon said after the day's game that he was actually pleased with the effort because it was a close match and it'll bring a few of the St Kilda players back to earth.
Gee, Plugger's in good form, isn't he? He's kicked 85 goals this season in 12 matches. He's on fire.
And he only had 1 wrestle today, and he got a free kick given against him too. So obviously the umpires have been told to watch out for that.
OK, the big upset was out at Waverley. There's got to be a question mark now surrounding Carlton and their finals aspirations.
Yes, there has to be. Of course, most of the discussion after the game centred on that late kick by John Dorotich from the goal square that went through for a point and very, very costly. David Parkins said, I was very surprised by Dora. It's most unusual for him. But it was a sad that it happened on the last kick for Dora because it could have kept us in the game. And he said Welsh, one of his new boys, kicked 1 goal 5, and he's one of the best kicks at the club. So he said luck mightn't have been with us today. We might not have meant to win that game today.
What about Alan Jeans? He'd be pretty happy with Richmond today. It was a terrific performance.
He was very pleased that they played 4 quarters under pressure. And he said, I've been through a lot of these games, but he said luck does play a part, and it's about time we probably got some. But the Tigers are praising that young kid Campbell. 41 possessions today, and he kicked a beautiful running goal that helped them win the match.
It's good to see Hoggy back too with his 5 goals today.
Terrific.
Mickey Malthouse, he's not often very happy. He must be tonight. 75-point win over Essendon. They've won so many important matches in the last few weeks, West Coast.
He looked at the MCG today and he was very pleased. He said it's one of the best performances of the MCG we've had. 10-goal win, he said, from a side that's won 4 on the trot and was close to us on the ladder. He said, I couldn't have been happier with everything that happened today. But he's got Turley hurt. Turley took a little bit of a knock and he's got a torn scrotum, Bruce, which is causing some anxiety in the Eagles camp. But Sumich kicked 11 goals 8 and he said he's not even fit yet.
Gee, he's playing well, and no Cal Paddock, the MCG, compared with Waverley Park.
Beautiful today.
For Vic Malthouse. And just finally, Kevin Sheedy.
Yes, well, Kevin said, I'm shattered, really, because we looked jaded and I can't put my thoughts to it. He said, I gave an easy day this week, but they look tired and flat out there. So obviously he's got some thinking to do. Wanganeen's got a cut eye, but the big question is, Bruce, whether Gary Ablett will play tomorrow. We've heard word that he went off on Friday night early in the training. They're giving him anti-inflammatories to try and sort of cool a sore spot in his Achilles. Fitness test probably tomorrow, but it's like that, Bruce.
OK, you might be able to tell us on Sportsworld tomorrow that, Scotty. Thank you very much. Don't forget Just for Kicks, that book. You can get it at newsagents and at any good bookstore. Terrific day of football coming up tomorrow. Just check your local guides with Sportsworld starting at 9 o'clock and the live game out of Carrara and then the replay from 5. Good night.
This has been another 7 Sport production, the network of the 1992 Barcelona Olympics.
Are looking secure. You'd expect those top 5 teams to play in the major round, even though there are some very important matches coming up in the next few weeks. And it looks as if Carlton may be blowing their chance. They're just out of the 6 at the moment. Hawthorn and Richmond has moved up to 11th, which is their highest position so far this season. As we go and have a look at some highlights from the matches to date, we go to Adelaide. There was Tunbridge trying to stop Bickley in his tracks. Here's Saliba, who was very impressive. Doesn't look much when he looks a bit like Gary McIntosh the way he plays, but probably finishes off a little better. And he made a most auspicious debut, and Star could have been born there on Friday night. Minton Connell was very good. He kicked 8 goals in a disappointing Sydney side, and well, he's found some form after that knee injury earlier in the year. Sumich had a lot of problems also earlier in the year, but hasn't he struck back? 5 against Hawthorn last week in a low-scoring game, and 11 goals 8 yesterday. Mainwaring might have been a bit lucky to get away with this one. Just gave Thompson the old heave-ho and then went bang and kicked the sausage roll. What about this goal by Matera? Fantastic. Pace, breaks through and then charges towards goal. He's very exciting. When Matera, Mainwaring and Sumich are amongst your stars, then you know West Coast are starting to fire. Ridley has been used in a lot of positions yesterday as a forward earlier last week and then as a defender with that big mark. Kick it, this is a brilliant goal. He kicked 2 excellent goals yesterday. And they were few and far between for the Bombers. Kevin Sheedy must have been disappointed, and the players and the supporters. Wanganeen played terrifically well, but he copped a hard one from Harding. But he's been a big success, the boy who turned 19 last week. Here's Sumich, 11 goals 8 as we said. He's only kicked 31 goals so far this season, but he's only played half the matches. 111 goals last year, and well, he looks to be on his way. And if Sumich can continue in his form, West Coast are going to be extremely hard to beat. Well, what do you say about Carlton? They've now lost 3 of their last 4 matches. There was Heaver going in for one of his 3 goals. Ironically, he kicked 5 goals against Carlton in his debut for Melbourne on the Queen's birthday a year and a bit ago. There was Knights with a soccer goal for Richmond. But what do you say about the Blues? They've lost to Fitzroy and also to Richmond when they've been in front at critical times in the last 2 weeks and haven't been able to win. And you'd have to have a big question mark on them. And Hawthorn and Fitzroy must have been licking their lips when Waitman gave this to Wayne Campbell, who had 41 possessions and kicked his 4th goal, and Richmond won because it's opened the door for Fitzroy and it's opened the door for Hawthorn. Nicky Winmar, who's our special guest today, the wizard with the handball there to kick it. He's also a bit of a wizard around the goals. This is a terrific goal by Stevens. Excellent take. Left foot goal. And North Melbourne continued to irritate St Kilda yesterday. They kept hanging in there. Probably should have been well in front up to half-time. Magnificent mark by Lockett. Well, Michael Martin said he was waiting for Tony in the press. I'm not sure if he was correctly quoted. Well, Tony kicked 7 on him and then Michael was shifted. So you've got to say Michael won the game. What about this? What about the little boy that goes down there? I'm not sure what number he had on. Look at the little fella. It's not Danny Craven, I know that. He's... Have a look at him. Oh. Anyway, he's recovered pretty well. It was a hard one on Bowie. Now, Spargo played pretty well. He kicked 4 goals. Had a terrific duel with Fletcher in the centre, and these late goals kept North Melbourne in the match, but they were too good, St Kilda. Lockett was very good. He's having a tremendous year. He kicked 85 goals, and he broke Bill Moore's goal-kicking record yesterday. He's kicked 742 goals. Moore had kicked 736. That record had stood since 1941. Kickett getting the goal, Lockett setting it up. The Saints sailing home in the end, but not by a lot, by 8 points. Only report actually came out of that match. Wayne Carey, you remember he was reported and suspended in the match against West Coast a few weeks ago. Well, he's up for allegedly striking Russell Morris in the 3rd quarter. As we take a look at the interstate headlines, well, they'll be crowing about Sue Mitch and why not over in Perth. Peter the Great, they say. 11 goals, 8 yesterday. That's the Sunday Times. In Adelaide, well, the Crows, who knows? They're still alive and they're still kicking. If they can beat Footscray at Waverley Park next week, well, they deserve to be a contender, but that's the big task in front of them. And the Sunday Herald Sun, well, they say the Tigers get tough, and they sure did yesterday. And I bet you Scotty Palmer, who's the sports editor there, will be pleased, because he doesn't mind a Tiger or two. You're a bit of a Richmond fan, Scotty, aren't you?
Born and bred in the place, still live in the place, in the shadows of the old Punt Road Oval.
Not sure what that means if you're still living there, Scotty, but it's a terrific spot, Richmond, isn't it?
Yes, my family are all Tiger supporters, right from my wife down to my daughter and my son and all the family.
Oh, no distinction in the Palmer ranks. I can see that. Everyone will be happy then, Scotty. Let's get on to business, shall we? Ablett, do you think he'll play?
Well, I've got a suspicion he will play, although Geelong just a few minutes ago said he still hasn't had the fitness test yet. They'll leave it till the last minute. They're keeping Footscray sort of guessing, of course. But last night I checked, and the word was that they're very, very hopeful of him playing. When he came off the ground on Friday night for treatment, a few of the top officials there said, well, he's come off for a bit of treatment, he'll be okay. So I've got a suspicion he will play.
All right, well, Stoneham and Burke not playing. Now, what's the story with St Kilda? They're saying that they reckon the AFL want to get rid of another club.
It's caused a little bit of a trauma this morning amongst the commissioners. Now, they believe it might be a little bit of campaigning by the St Kilda Football Club to get the move to Waverley rolling. There's no such suggestion in their blueprint about a club disappearing from the competition. They pointed out this morning that next year we could see next year or the year after, another side from West Australia. Then that'll bring it up to 16, then a second side from South Australia. Who's to say that in the long run, one of the northern sides might, Brisbane or Sydney might disappear, bringing him back to 16, so that'd be the competition. There's no real plan to get rid of any sides in the competition at this moment, Bruce.
Well, the team they played yesterday is also in the news this morning. Neil Roberts, the Brownlow medalist, has written an article saying that Tim Watson and Ron Barassi could be both very heavily involved at North Melbourne. Tim in the capacity as coach, and Ron, chairman of selectors or
chairman
something?
They're jumping up and down about the story too at North Melbourne. I spoke to Ron Casey, the chairman, just a few minutes ago, and he said that very, very premature. He said outrageous thinking to at this stage, but he said no, nothing has been done. But you know, obviously plans are North are looking at plans for 1993 and beyond, and who knows, Mr. Barassi or Mr. Aylett or Mr. Ron Joseph may be included.
Well, Tim's here today and so is Ron, so we'll ask them that because they're both honest men.
They'll deny it, of course.
They'll give us an honest answer. Chris Langford now, his wife Eleanor's expecting a baby. Is Chris on the plane
Chris
playing
is on
Brisbane?
the plane, on the, I think it's a 9:45 plane to the Gold Coast. Eleanor's in bed, resting at the moment.
Good.
Quite comfortable.
OK, good luck to the Langfords. Now, what about Gary Lyon? Has he got any hope of playing in the interstate match? Because he's making a comeback today.
I believe that if Gary Lyon plays a good game against Fitzroy at the MCG today, Monday night could see him re-included into the States squad.
Well, I know they take a lot of notice of you, Scotty, because you've helped pick the team throughout the year. Now, what about Richard Osborne? Do you think the state selectors believe they owe him something? He's come out in the paper and said, well, I should be picked.
The chairman of selectors, was, Teddy Whitten, was very hostile over the headlines at the weekend. He said, we owe no player anything. He said, if they're picked, they're picked. And he said that when we named the squad, we didn't know whether Osborne was going to play. We probably thought he was still injured. He's got a few weeks to put his act together. If we consider it worthwhile, we'll pick him. But we owe nobody nothing, says Teddy.
Said it that loudly.
He did too.
Oh, I bet you did, Scotty. Scotty, keep punching. You're off to Barcelona, surely, but you're still with us next week, right?
Yeah, sure, Bruce.
OK. Keep punching, Scotty. Thanks for all that, and we're looking forward to seeing whether Gary Ablett takes his place today. We'll take a break. We'll be asking Tim Watson and Ron Barassi those questions and joining the other panel members after this.
Presenting the Olympic coverage, McDonald's, proud partners in the Olympic dream.
It takes the ultimate commitment, an unwavering belief in yourself to do your best and then go one step further. And when the hard work is done, when every angle is covered, it all comes down to one moment in time. See Olympic dreams come true on the 7 Network.
There is nothing greater.
In both the NRMA and Motor Magazine Awards, Mitsubishi recently won the important Best Family Sedan category with the new TR Magna. NRMA's road test engineer Bob Hudson justified selecting the Magna in a category previously dominated by Ford and Holden by saying the TR Magna imparted a feeling of class and solidity in the way it looked and drove that put it ahead of the pack. At Westpac, we understand that when it comes to looking after your own, there's no place like home. And to make buying your home easier, Westpac is offering you a special low interest rate of just 8.75% per annum for the first 4 months of your loan. This is a limited offer, so talk to your Westpac manager today, because we want you to be as comfortable with your home loan as you are with your new home.
Alexander's winter sale is bigger than ever. Top quality menswear is going for half price. Business shirts $12.50, half price. Men's tailored trousers $15, that's half price. Andre beanie jeans out they go for half price, $29.95. Knitwear is now just $15, half the price. Chase outdoor business socks are $1.25, half price. Whatever you do, don't miss Alexander's winter sale. It's big. Alexander's, the look, the name, the price.
SIO?
It's true. SIO provide a free local taxi to get you home or to your next appointment. It's free with SIO comprehensive insurance.
Don't worry, Mrs. Bennett. We've got everything under control.
Insurance as it should be.
Monday only, all stock including sale items 15% off at Spotlight. 15% off Manchester and curtain fabrics, dress fabrics, haberdashery, craft and wool. Monday only, 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. 15% off all stock at Spotlight.
From the outback of Australia, you can see the lights of Paris. From Mount Fuji, you can see the skyscrapers of Manhattan. And from the Kansas heartland, you can see the heart of England. You can see it all on United, because our wings now span more than half the world. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
What a view. Must really look forward to lunch coming up in a moment. Bobby, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Excellent today, Bobby.
Yes, excellent. Looking forward to a great game this afternoon. Going down purely and simply as a spectator.
Do you think Footscray will get plenty of support down there? I'm just thinking if this game should have been transferred, Bob. Do you think the Footscray supporters will get down there en masse and support them against Geelong?
I don't think it'll be a lockout, Bruce. Let me put it that way.
Fair enough. Ron, how are you?
Very good.
Two questions. Firstly, Graham Corns' attack on Hawthorn this week and the fact that the 3 players weren't allowed to go and train in Adelaide for the State of Origin. Your thoughts on that as a Victorian selector?
Well, I think all clubs should try wherever they can to help out state people, whichever state it may be. But comparing the ability of the Hawthorn players to come to Victorian state training as with South Australia, there is a bit of a difference. It's a 1,000-mile trip, for example, and that may have come into it. If there wasn't anything like that, I think Hawthorn should have let them go. If they let the Victorian players go, they should let the state side go.
And Scotty's been telling me you've been dining with Ron Joseph a lot of late. I know you're good friends. Is there any truth that you have an interest in North Melbourne?
They've got it all wrong. It's I'm the coach and Tim's the chairman of selectors.
Oh, is that how it's working out? Are you interested, Ron, in North Melbourne?
I think I just love North Melbourne. They're absolutely fantastic, and I'm really doing it hard.
Do you love them more than Melbourne, Ron?
I'm doing it very hard at the moment.
Do you love them more than Melbourne, Ron?
Like any supporter.
Do you love them more than Melbourne, Ron?
I had
There's an echo, Ron.
The best time in my adult football life at North Melbourne, and they were fantastic to me and for me.
Well, the simple question, if there was a job there for you, would
I'm
you
not
take
interested
it?
in coaching, no.
No. Are you interested in being involved as a chairman of selectors at that club?
I would doubt very much. I've got a big project on at the moment. I just don't think I'd have the time, and the person who takes that job on will have to devote a heck of a lot of time.
OK, you've answered that honestly. Peter McKenna, can I skip you for a second? I want to ask Tim, because whilst I'm on...
No worries.
Tim, are you interested in coaching?
No, I'm not. And I haven't been approached by North Melbourne, and I'm not looking at coaching as an option in the short-term future.
OK, we've answered it honestly. So that answers the question
See it
that
all
was
on
raised,
Channel 7, don't you?
raised this morning. Let's go back to Peter. Welcome, Peter. Peter...
Hello, Bruce. Are you interested in coaching, Peter?
I've already gone through a few clubs, Bob, as you know.
Yeah.
But don't know
You
them.
had 37 clubs, Peter, as a player.
Peter, Sydney, would you like to take them on after what you saw on Friday night?
Well, Sydney did the interstate cause no good whatsoever on Friday night, Bruce, and I thought it was an insipid performance. Adelaide without their forwards, Modra, Hodges, Jamieson and Klug, and Sydney's effort. And I just hope that there aren't half a dozen players in that Sydney side that are looking to the future and maybe coming to Melbourne clubs, because if that's the case, that's the end of the Sydney Swans. And the way they played on Friday night suggested that is the case.
OK, that's fair enough. Robbo, welcome to the panel. You were at Moorabbin yesterday.
No.
Correction, you were at the MCG yesterday. You saw Peter Sumich kick 11-8 and saw West Coast hammer Essendon to 75 points. Comparing where they were last year on top of the ladder with probably one defeat at this time, and that was by Carlton at Princess Park, are they going as well this year, do you think? At this very minute, have they got to the point now where they've accelerated and they're at the position they were in last year?
Well, I think their season is just getting together quite nicely, Bruce, from that point of view. A few of their players that have had interrupted seasons are starting to find a bit of form, and I think Sumich is a prime example. Lewis is another one. Turley is another one. And I think that Mick Malthouse would feel fairly confident in about the next 6 or 8 weeks.
OK, and on the other hand, there must be a question mark surrounding Essendon now, but we'll talk about that in a moment, because Nicky Winmar's joined us, the Wizard of Moorabbin, our special guest today. Welcome, Nicky. Nicky, the first question, on paper it looked not such a great performance by St Kilda yesterday, even though they won. I was just wondering, is it difficult to build up for each week and each game in the same manner? Because St Kilda in the past have prepared very well for major games, have come out running, so to speak, and got the first couple of goals. Yesterday you appeared to be jumped and appeared to be almost lethargic for a lot of the match.
Well, yesterday, before the game, Ken Sheldon warned us about North Melbourne, and that they would come out strong, and you know, we were mentally prepared for it. And,
did you feel the same in the room? I know you were coming back after a week off yourself. Did you feel the atmosphere was the same in the room going out there?
It was. The boys were really pumped up for it, and I sort of was in my own little corner, because my first game back from last week against Richmond, and I was really nervous, and I wanted to play a good game, and you know, the boys were really fired up before the game started, but we knew that North Melbourne would come out and fired up, and they did prove that.
Well, you succeeded personally in playing a good game. Tim Watson, Tim, can you give us the votes and then throw a question at Nicky?
Well, I gave 3 votes to Alex Sashenko for a tireless performance in the ruck. He really was a fantastic contributor all day. He played well against the Bears last Friday night, and he continued on this week. 2 votes to Tony Lockett for 9 goals, and Adrian Fletcher I gave 1 vote to for a performance of picking up a lot of possessions around the packs. Now, this was a good contest. I think St Kilda probably went out there expecting to win, and North Melbourne played the best brand of football I've seen them play all season. There was a cross-wind which made it a little bit difficult for the players to control the ball, but North really did give it all their best shot, and you know, their tackling and their harassment was fantastic. Shenko, as I said before, was excellent in the ruck, and St Kilda tried Bingham starting off against him in the centre bounces, with Flanagan dropping back into the hole, probably to stop the ball coming down the field and to block off the lead to Longmire, but I didn't know that this worked that well. And when Ashenko was supposed to go, the big fella Flanagan was supposed to pick up Ashenko after the centre bounce, and Ashenko got a lot of possessions in the centre of the ground unattended, and Bingham went back to centre half forward. But those players were off the ground at different times yesterday. The other players for North Melbourne who picked up their game yesterday, Scholl was a very good player, as he's been probably for most of the season, but the other guy, Ben Buckley, came back into the side and was a very good player. Nicky Winmar, who I'll ask in a moment a question about, perhaps his role yesterday. Nicky, were you playing as a ruck-type rover in the back line, or were you instructed to pick up Crocker? You're sort of a long way apart at different times of the game.
No, I was named at half-back flank, and that's where I had to play in.
So is Ken Sheldon's instruction for you to just go and win the ball, or is it sort of more or less to play as a backman, stopping your opponent?
Like to win the ball, he's sort of looking for some run off the back line, so you've put me in the half-back flank.
So it's more or less to pick up possessions and create some run out of the back line.
Mm-hmm.
Nicky, sometimes an incident outside of the club football life can throw players. Was the Craig O'Brien incident mentioned by the coach at any side, keeping mind on the job, or?
No, nothing has been said in the club about that incident, no.
Nick, would you like Ken to come and, if you were unfortunate to go over to the boundary line, would you like Kenny to come and say something to you, or is he one of those fellas?
Ken doesn't say anything to me. I know that I'm doing all right, so
I see.
Just like to leave
it's
it
like
like
that. Is if he does say something to you,
yeah, then
you're in a spot of bother.
Yeah.
You're on the half-back flank when Tim was talking to you. Are you a sweeper half-back flanker or a minder half-back flanker?
At the moment, a sweeper, and
a sweeper.
maybe later on it'd be a minder.
Be a minder. Good on you, Nicky.
Nicky, you've got a lot of champion players in the team, but a couple of your unheralded players impressed me. Nathan Burke and Jamie Shanahan. Like, I didn't think he was going to make it a couple of years ago, but he's really come of age.
Jamie has really picked up. Pre-season, he's done really tough and hard, and he's a good player. And Kenny gives him a job on these smaller robo-type players, and he does really well. And
Nathan Burke?
Nathan Burke, he's a true champion, and playing on the wing it suits him very well. And the pockets that he's been playing, in the back pockets and in the forward line.
Didn't you see the state match, Peter?
I know, but he's not regarded as a Lockett
or
I love him as a player, but he's not regarded as a Lockett or a Lowe or a Winmar, is he? I'm trying to give the bloke a rap run.
I hope you are, because he deserves it.
Can I ask you a question about the height factor of St Kilda? The last couple of years, you had a terrific worker in Paul Harding, but now you've got two very tall players, Flanagan and Bingham. Do you feel that that's a great acquisition for the club, those two players?
Bingham starts in the ruck type work, and he's really goes to centre forward. He's really good for his height, and Flanners, he does the taps around the boundary line. He's working very well there. He's one of the I think he's one of the best ruckmen around the ground for the tap outs and for the boundary.
Can that be the difference between St Kilda going just a little step further this year than last year, do you think?
It will be a big difference.
Nicky, being a player in the back line at the moment, coming down the field with the ball, Lowe is positioning himself deeper into the forward line, almost alongside Lockett for a lot of the game. Would you prefer him as a player to be able to have him to kick the ball too when you come out of the back line? Because really at the moment you're aiming the ball towards Bingham.
Well, yesterday we had a bit of trouble with that. Stewie was a bit too far back, and Ken sort of put him up down a bit, and we'd like to see Lowe at centre forward for the run off the back line, because he's a real good grab and takes a real strong mark. But the reason that he's playing back there, because if Lockett's back there by himself, they'll drop a ruckman back in the middle to stop his leading. So.
Nicky, I noticed Tony Lockett is a magnificent kick. He was even taking an extra 20 seconds over every shot for goal yesterday. Now, has Peter Hudson been working with him as well? Because he's kicking a la Stuart Lowe, taking that mark on the ground and really taking his time.
Well, you remember Tony a couple of weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when he was missing those goals in front. Peter has been working on helping Tony with his goal kicking. And well, like Timmy Watson said, the win was very difficult to kick goals here. So I think North Melbourne kicked 5 points before they even scored a goal. I think. So
Yeah.
it was he's taking his time to really.
It's very professional anyway, even for a champion like Lockett to, be taking so much time over his kicking. I reckon that was a good lesson for young kids.
And Nicky, you were very fiery in your younger days. Has this change come gradually through becoming older, or have you really made a strong effort to keep your cool, so to speak?
Just to keep my cool as I play. Like a lot of players out there don't niggle with me or anything, so it's really good. As I do get older, I do want to be stronger and really play well and finish like I started well and finish off well.
Well, St Kilda need you there all the time, so it's a beauty.
How do you see your future, Nicky? I mean, we want you to stay here in Victoria for 10 years. You're such an exciting player. Do you see yourself finishing back in the West?
No, I'll stay on Victoria and I'll be at St Kilda as long as they want me there.
Nicky, congratulations on your personal game yesterday and on your career, and good luck. I think there are a lot of people out there hoping the Saints go all the way this year.
Thanks, mate.
You're a credit to the game, and I don't think I've seen Bobby Davis's eyes sparkle so much when he's interviewed anyone. It's the first time I've ever heard him use a terminology that we used in the 90s, like sweepers and minders. Gee, you brought out the best in him today.
American
exactly.
things, and he was knocking it before. It's all right to use it yourself.
They're not the American term. David Parkin, I thought, introduced those. Did he steal them from America? I thought they were, sort of things that have come out of his mind or out of his computer or something. But just to see Nicky Winmar play is a sheer delight. And there should be more of them.
Well,
thanks, Bob.
Good on you, Nicky.
There is. There's Gilbert McAvaney.
I just mean football. I don't mean...
No, they're fantastic.
We better go, boys. Thanks, Nicky, for your time. We'll take a break. Back with Essendon West Coast after this.
He's the host who's always smiling. Because he's giving away a car. And he's giving away a holiday.
Nothing like winning.
On the most environmentally friendly...
It's an unloaded pension.
...and favourite family show on TV.
Having a ball.
Join captains Anne-Marie and Agro.
And you can quote me on that.
Loads of fun on the main event, 6:30 tonight.
G'day. You know, most people think that I only use a boat for fishing. But I like all kinds of water sports like skiing. Geez, fine-looking athlete. And, of course, sailing's a breeze. Look at that beauty. You can discover boating too at the boat show at the exhibition building. There's all sorts of attractions, and you could win 2 His and Hers Savage Scorpion boats powered by Mercury on Dunbeer trailers worth 36 grand. Check the Herald Sun for details and hurry to the exhibition building.
SIO offer a new concept in motor insurance.
SIO? My car's been stolen. Your name,
Comprehensive motor
Bennett.
insurance giving free access to 24-hour
I'll
help
get you a cab. Can I inform anyone?
with one phone call.
Don't worry, Mrs. Bennett. We've got everything under control. I'll have our claims department call you.
Talk to SIO now for comprehensive motor insurance.
Insurance as it should be.
Phone 649-1234.
When we want to get our carpet really clean, we wash them with our Vax 3-in-1 vacuum cleaner. It's very easy, and the special turbulent washing action gets out all the deep down dirt and grime from carpets and upholstery.
When we want to wash our hard floors, we also use our Vax. And of course, Vax is perfect for regular dry vacuuming.
There's just nothing as good as a Vax.
It's amazing.
No wonder they call it the 3-in-1 cleaning system.
Looking for a fully imported family car? Then, hey, we're making a Mazda ad.
Compare it with the Subaru Liberty GX.
But this has central locking, standard air conditioning, a 3-year warranty.
The Liberty GX has all those features and almost 20% more power.
Yeah, but for how much?
Oh, about $1,500 less than a 626.
That much?
Subaru Liberty GX. Nothing else stacks up.
He broke 7 world records and won 7 golds. Now, Mark Spitz returns to Munich to reflect on the historic 72 Olympics tonight.
Welcome back. Ron Barassi's about to join us with the Essendon West Coast game. He's just been talking to Tim Watson about what a great team they'd make. I'm not sure where they're going, though. How are you, Ron? Ron, real struggle for Essendon yesterday. They won 4 straight. Kevin Sheedy described it as a mini grand final. Well, they didn't show too much. 75 points in arrears at the end.
Well, they showed a lot of effort in the first quarter and a half, perhaps even 2 quarters, but after that the speed and superiority of the West Coasters was so obvious, particularly with a couple of targets, Hines at centre-half forward and especially Sumich at full forward. Well, it was just too much, overwhelming. Sumich, I gave 3 votes, 11 goals. You've got to give some consideration, but he did play quite well. Still dropping a few marks. He could have easily kicked 15 or 16 yesterday because he didn't kick that superbly anyway, but it's not a bad totals. Waterman was one of many runners for Western Australia that played West Coast Eagles, I'm sorry. Freudian slip there. That played very well. Matera too, and Waterman, not Waterman, Main Waring was also another very good player. So they were just too fast, and that's one of the things that impressed everybody last year, in my opinion anyway, was the speed. They had a lot of guys who can really scoot along, and that speed is becoming apparent once again. Matera as an example.
Bruce, just a question about Paul Salmon, who kicked 10 goals only 6 days earlier, and there was a bit of a query about his fitness, but his performance yesterday, from an Essendon point of view, was very, very dismal.
Yes, I'm sure Paul would have been disappointed himself. I mean, he relies a lot on his marking naturally at his height. It's one of his big advantages. And but to me, he's not a natural mark. Sometimes he's on the ball and, well, as on marking, and it sticks straight in his hands, no fumbles. Yesterday was one of those days. And also Djakovic played quite well on him, by the way. That didn't help, of course.
Anderson and fellas like that who are genuine attackers, do you see them, Anderson as a full-back?
Well, certainly not against Sumich. I thought he'd be undermanned there, and it proved to be the case. However, Sheeds didn't have that too many options to play once he decided that Anthony Danaher wasn't the man. He didn't, he hasn't got many players to go down there. Sumich is a very good player, and the ball is coming down very quickly.
Ron Buick, probably one of Essendon's best 6 players, but I just feel when they get into the situation of a big game, a lot of sides take him out of the game far too easily. How'd he go yesterday?
Well, again, he wasn't in it. He was kept under control quite a bit, and I quite agree with you there, although it's very hard. It's much easier for a tagger to succeed when everyone else is helping him out too.
But it is a hurdle that he has to get over.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think you're speaking from a position of knowledge, inside knowledge. You've actually seen him. You're playing with him until last year, so I'd take your word on any Essendon situation over mine because you've actually been there.
Getting back to Anderson, wouldn't it be the first thing to do would be to win the ball from the centre and force it forward for you rather than try and defend? I mean, Anderson really is a very creative, ball-gathering centre-line player. That's where he's historically created his reputation. Now, if you put him up around the middle, surely he's going to get the ball 30 times and force it forward for you, rather than stick him down the back and you're a man short around the centre then, aren't you? And the ball's going to keep coming down for Sumich to grab.
Well, I think if Kevin Sheedy was here, he would probably agree with you there, the theory of it, but he was stuck yesterday. He wanted to shift Danaher away from Sumich, and there wasn't many options.
Is there much difference between Anderson's situation and Winmar's situation that we were talking about a moment ago? And coming off but coming off a halfback who's basically an attacking player, Winmar. I mean, Winmar's best position would be in the centre line, wouldn't it?
Well, we saw it with the Kickett. I mean, Kickett went down and he's not a real defender, but he did take the ball out for Essendon a lot of times, but in the centre, he has driven it.
I think there's a big difference about playing someone at the full-back line rather than across the half-back line.
Yes. Exactly.
Because Ron used to put champion wingmen on the half-back line, Robert Flower.
Keith Gregg.
And, I mean, in a different way, Gavin Wanganeen's playing in the back pocket at the moment and made his name as a wingman.
Well, a lot of football today, you set up your game in the back line. It's good to have playmakers back there, guys that do control the ball, guys that when they get the ball, it goes on to a teammate, and that's why a lot of sides are playing those guys in that position.
I mean, why can't any player do well back or forward? The skills required today are nearly exactly the same at either end.
Ron, what about the Eagles? Are they a definite threat now? We haven't said much about them. They look to be on track to be a definite.
Yeah, very ominous. And this year,
ominous, Ron.
Ominous. And this year they haven't got a Hawthorn in full flight. Well, we don't know by the end of the season. I understand that, but Victorian honour at stake here, guys.
No ruckman and no rover.
Well, premiership's been won before without either.
With not a devastating rover, and not
glad you mentioned the word
scintillating or tall, effective ruckman.
Can be done. Anything can be done.
Okay, well, they've won 6 out of their last 7 and they face Melbourne and Sydney at home in the next couple of weeks, so you'd fancy them there. Peter, let's get to the votes from Friday night. Adelaide, well, keeping alive a very slim chance they might have of playing off.
Yes, and they're not far off being a very good side, Adelaide. They've got all their 4 really good forwards out at the moment, but, well, if they had those 4 players, it'd make a big difference. But they had a couple of makeshift forwards there on Friday night who did well. But with the votes, well, Simon Mitten-Connell can really hold his head up high to kick 8 goals in a losing side, and he chased the ball out to the wing and really fought for it. Matthew Liptak, I'm very impressed with this little player. He's a real goer and can kick goals. And we talk about some of the up-and-coming ruckmen in the competition. I reckon this guy's going to be the best ruckman in the competition within a couple of years, Sean Wren. He's got remarkable ability for such a young player, and he was terrific again on Friday night. There's Daryl Hart kicking that ball. Daryl Hart has been known in South Australia as a goal kicker, but he played on the back line on Friday night and played a terrific game and would have been in the votes, only he went off at 3/4 time. But a very disappointing effort as we see Brown kicking a goal, David Brown, but a disappointing effort by the Swans.
Ben Hart.
Ben Hart, a young player. I think he's only 17. Oh, he's a stylish player. He's going to be a top player of the future. But there's Mitten-Connell. Look at him out in the half-forward line, bring it down. But they just didn't have enough goers, the Swans. They had 3 or 4 top tries. And I'll tell you what, there's half a dozen blokes who should not be paid for Friday night.
The Adelaide side have really starting to get a group of good youngsters for the future, aren't they?
They really have got some good youngsters. Like when your first ruckman is Wren, you've got Jamison to come back into the side and Modra as forwards. Young Ben Hart, who we mentioned. Saliba, who came on when McGuinness did his ham. See, there's another thing. Tony McGuinness did his hamstring early in the game. Swans couldn't even capitalise on that. Saliba was tremendous, and well, I don't know where he's been hiding all year, but he's a very talented player.
Peter, we've discussed over the past month or so the perhaps demise of the so-called dinosaurs. When you see a guy like Sean Wren running around there and creative like he is, as a 6'5" or whatever, there's no doubt that there will always be a place in the game for the big, tall, talented player.
But he's not just a tall tap ruckman.
Very talented.
Sean Wren is around the ground. He takes marks, gets in the right position, and when he misses it the first time, he butters up and goes and chases it. He was tremendous. And
he's not a dinosaur, you're saying?
He's not a dinosaur type, not just a tap ruckman.
What's the classification
He's just
of
a
a dinosaur?
talented...
Slow plod.
He's very mobile. Sean Wren, very mobile.
I think the symbolism of the dinosaur is that they're dead, and so is the type of player that represents. But anyway, Bobby's coming up after this because we're going to have a look at the... No, Bobby's no dinosaur. We're going to have a look at the big upset of the round, Richmond and Carlton.
Slow and plodding.
Her husband's gone and her daughter's next. Time to get even. Barbara Eden, Loretta Swit, Hell Have No Fury, Monday on 7.
Let's Carnival! Hey, don't miss the $100,000 Herald Sun Cash Carnival, starting tomorrow in the Herald Sun. To get in on the action, simply collect the Cash Carnival notes every day. You could win big dollars. Yeah, $100,000 must be won. So don't just sit there in limbo. Join in the $100,000 Herald Sun Cash Carnival, starting tomorrow. Don't miss it.
Travelling overseas? Don't risk higher prices at the airport. City International Duty Free have the most competitive prices on the full range of the latest Panasonic video cameras. From a low $895 with full warranty. Some can even see in the dark. And the G3 has wide scope that enables you to check sound and picture on the spot. Available from City International Duty Free, 185 Swanston Street, 245 Collins Street and 393 Clayton Road, Clayton. Also at West End Duty Free, 53 Queen Street, City.
Great news, sports fans! Stack Sports Warehouse has come to the City of Melbourne for a massive stock clearance. Sports shoes, clothing, tennis and squash rackets, fitness and weights. Everything slashed to clear. ASIC sports shoes are crazy $9.95. Speedo clothing up to 60% off. Barbell dumbbell weight sets $99.95. Computerized dual action exercise bikes $199. ASIC's volley cross highs $69.95. It's on for a short time only. Get to Stack's massive sports clearance in Elizabeth Street next to Victoria Markets. Open every day including Sunday.
Australian Football Video presents Grand Final Football at its best. Relive St Kilda's 1966 Premiership victory over Collingwood. A magnificent video recalling the day the mighty Saints took their first flag. and the 1977 North Melbourne Double Pack, featuring the grand final draw and replay against Collingwood. These two videos show the Roos winning their second flag in 3 years. These historic football contests are an essential part of any sports library.
Now you can trade in your old windows for new Alcan windows and save hundreds of dollars.
The windows we have are too old and too small.
At Alcan, we've windows as big as your wall. Replace one window and save $25. Replace two windows, save $75. Replace three windows, save $150. The more you replace, the more you save. So ring now.
We are the boys from Alcan, and we're waiting to hear from you.
So call now and save.
Welcome back to Sportsworld. Bob Davis went out to Waverley yesterday and he saw the upset of the round. Richmond over Carlton by 3 points. A blue day for the Blues, considering the incentive they had, Bob, to play in the top 6 and stay in there. And celebrations for Mil Hannah, 100 games. Greg Williams, 150 with 3 different clubs. And Kernahan and Bradley, their 150th as well.
Well, I was interested, and I hear that Parker said that put too much pressure on those players. I think it was just be the exact opposite, that you would want to play even better when you had a milestone and you'd want the team to win.
That's the pressure he's talking about, though.
Really? But the pressure, look, if you're a good player and you're playing 150 games, wouldn't you really want to play well? Who puts the pressure on you? Only yourself would put the pressure. You have to be a dumbbell. That's all claptrap, what he said. Claptrap.
Bob, do you consider that to be a real surprise? I mean, Richmond beat Carlton in the last game last year. Now, surely their confidence against the opposition would have been fairly high, wouldn't it?
I would consider that yesterday's win for Richmond was probably the most important win for them in a decade. Not that they beat Carlton, but the manner in which they accomplished it. And you can see the style coming into the team, and I'm going to give the votes for Brian because he's making all sorts of ridiculous singles over there. But here it is now. I gave Wayne Campbell, who's a most exciting player, a very exciting player, and the way he finished off Carlton, he was, in the last 2 goals, magnificent. Hannah, who obviously didn't feel the pressure because he played a great game for them, and Turner, who was a backman, come up to the forward line and looked as though he might be quite a good player.
Now, Bobby,
yes.
If Dorothy kicked that goal from close in, probably Carlton would have won. Were they the better side, or were Richmond?
No, Richmond were the better side. And in fact,
justice was done.
I think justice was done. In fact, Richmond started off well and looked as though they were going to go. Carlton would get to them, Richmond would kick their next goal, and you could see the thought that we aren't a bad team, coming better all the time, and they have some very exciting young players who are not perhaps as well known as they should be.
Bob,
namely,
Bob, I've been
Lennon for one.
Yeah, Bob, I've been an advocate for never moving Jeff Hogg from full forward. Now, where did he play? How did he perform?
Well, he started off he got 4 goals. He did very well early. You know, Hogg's the leader for them. There's no 2 ways about it. Actually, Little Lambert got cut out the game by Elvin, but Matthew Knights did well, and then Campbell did well for them. They've got, and Waitman, even though, well, he needs to catch a tram to get to the ball almost now, Waitman, but he's clever and he can do things.
Bobby,
yeah.
A moment ago you spoke about their style of play. What did you mean by the change in their style of play?
Well, they were yesterday taking the correct options with the ball, which they haven't been doing. And when they went 8 points down with 22 minutes gone in the last quarter, you'd say if they're not a good team, they would go under.
Were they more direct?
Well, they were a little bit more direct, but they fought it out. When they got to the front, they fought it right along the boundary. Everything worked well for them, and it looked as though they were, knowing what they wanted to do and knowing that they wanted to win the game. And I would be very apprehensive if I was Collingwood next week about them.
Justin Madden
played very well for them yesterday. In fact, he was one of their very good players. But at one stage, they had all big, tall fellas up on the forward line. Kernahan, Spalding, Dorotich, they were all there, no little fellas, although Heaver did get 3 goals, I think.
Bob, I don't want to be pedantic, but choosing the right option is not a style. I mean, that's something you try and teach all footballers to do, isn't it?
Yes, but the coach must instill in them that there are 2 or 3 options, and they've really got to look at it. I think before that, they may have just blazed with the ball on. Now they sort of got their head up and finding the cricket and not turning it over as easily as they were doing.
Last Sunday's votes, thanks for that, Bob. Last Sunday, Don Scott, Sydney and Geelong went this way. Scott having a terrific year. Kepler and Strooper for Sydney. Ross Glendinning saw a crackerjack game. Collingwood and Footscray. McGuan 3, Shaw 2, Liberatore 1. And Bernie Quinlan in the Adelaide-Essendon game gave Salmon, who kicked 9 goals in that match, 3, Jarman 2 and Buick 1. So 6 days is a long time in footy because Salmon and Buick didn't quite fire as well yesterday. Now, progressive votes, Atkins leads and he's playing today. Lowe is 3 points behind, and then Darren Jarman, who also plays today, and Scott Wine playing today. So they're the leaders. Gary Ablett, we hope, is playing. Kemp having a very good year, and so is Dunstall. Okay, in just a moment, Ron and Peter to do the Mitsubishi Marks of the Week.
The Mark of the Week and the Mark of the Year are proudly brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors.
Germany kicks it very quickly.
Yes, a terrific mark. Standard stuff, I guess, though.
And Robert Scott, this is a good mark. 3 bites of the cherry, but he kept his eyes on it.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. So almost, he's against the flight almost. His eyes are on the ball, and he has the presence of mind to keep control after losing balance.
Well, one of the young brigade at Geelong, a very promising young player, Paul Brown. He's back in form.
And Steve Hanley here, very courageous effort here. Absolutely top mark.
Now, I've already sung the praises of Sean Wren. I don't reckon he really held that one, but it was paid.
Mark Micken, a well-timed launch and very sure hands.
Another exciting player coming up here. Look at this for eyes on the ball. Gavin Wanganeen, a terrific talent.
This is Michael Werner. It's another very gutsy mark this morning. It's not an easy keeping the eye on the ball and concentration all the while, particularly...
Well, that was Todd Ridley. That was just a real big grab.
And here's Big Tony here, too strong and great ball handling and judgment and control.
Now, this took courage, this next one. John Dorotich, look at this. Every footballer dreads this one. Back into the pack. He one-handed, probably could have been 2, but...
Here's another terrific mark, sorry, Peter. Superb coordination here of the leap and the eyes on the ball. Just absolutely fantastic.
Well, some good marks there. I like Werner's one too. That took a lot of courage running back into that pack.
But I think you chose and I chose.
Well, we agreed on Todd Ridley. It was a very exciting mark. He came from the back. As you see, he gets the run, big leap. The talented player, Todd Ridley, and hugs it to his chest.
So Todd Ridley, the winner of the Mitsubishi Mark of the Week, and he joins some other names that have been having success in the Marks of the Week. And in more recent times, I think it's, here we go, Darren Jarman, Cavidan, Wanganeen, Roos and Dean. Don't forget that book, Just for Kicks. You can get it from your newsagents or bookstores. Lots of funny stories in that, and a lot of the Channel 7 people and your favourite footballers have made a contribution. Goals of the Week coming up after this.
Joseph Banks can't keep his hands off Mrs. Bly's botany, and a jealous husband produces panic in Herman's Head. From 8:30 Thursday on 7.
Alexander's winter sale is bigger than ever. Top quality menswear is going for half price. Business shirts $12.50, half price. Men's tailored trousers $15, that's half price. Andre beanie jeans, out they go for half price, $29.95. Knitwear is now just $15, half the price. Chase outdoor business socks are $1.25, half price. Whatever you do, don't miss Alexander's winter sale. It's big. Alexander's, the look, the name, the price.
This automatic transmission has problems. His driver thinks there's a big bill coming. But if they go to Fluid Drive, they're likely to find that what sounds like a big problem may only be a little one. After almost 30 years of satisfying customers, Fluid Drive know the difference and how to save you big dollars. Take your automatic transmission to the specialists. You can trust your transmission to Fluid Drive.
Gaining access to Australia's largest financial network is not as difficult as you may think. In fact, it's simply a matter of who you know. CPA. Profit from our experience.
Monday only, all stock including sale items 15% off at Spotlight. 15% off Manchester and curtain fabrics, dress fabrics, haberdashery, craft and wool. Monday only, 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. 15% off all stock at Spotlight.
Hi folks, this is John Denver inviting you to listen to my new Earth Songs album. The Colorado Rocky Mountain High.
This is the best of John Denver.
On my shoulder.
14 classic tracks, including some old and some new. John Denver's Earth Songs, a very special new release from J&D.
The action doesn't stop today. Brisbane against Hawthorn at Carrara live. Then it's to the Geelong Footscray hotspots. 2 big games from 2 o'clock today on 7 Sports.
Welcome back, Ian and Bob, to go through the goals of the week in just a moment.
The goal of the week and the goal of the year are brought to you by BP. BP, on the move.
Well, the first goal we're going to look at is a really long kick by David Minch from inside the square.
Unloads with a long run down to the square, shepherded through for a goal.
And now the magical number 5 comes in. Now, I don't know whether I can really... It is a beautiful goal.
You were going to say
No, it was Murphy. Terrific effort by Matthew Liptak here, one of the really good players for the Adelaide Crows on Friday night.
And Minton Connell, who certainly had a feast. And this is a very good goal because he's got to get around and he makes a direct kick straight through, and it is a very nice goal from quite a distance.
Yeah. Next one of the quickest players in the competition, Peter Matera. Have a look at this, over 15. Breaks through and kicks the goal.
This fellow is not only quick, he is magical and he's a delight to see, and this is one of his great goals. Derek Kickett.
Well, he didn't have many touches yesterday, Derek Kickett, but what he did with tremendous excitement. Have a look at this. Again from about 45 metres and covers the players in the goal square quite easily.
One could say it's a judicious bounce, but he does the right thing with it, Ross Smith, and goes through from a very acute angle. Quite a nice goal.
That is a goal! What a great kick!
And Phil St Kilda will be looking in the future for a lot from this young man, Tim Allen. Very talented player.
Hooks it back a goal, a great attempt, and what a top goal by Tim Allen.
And here's another do kick it, but it is one in a St Kilda jump, and that is a magnificent goal right back over his shoulder. And Dale Kickett is also a great player.
Wayne Campbell, a fairly inexperienced player as far as AFL is concerned, but quite a very skillful left foot shot for goal there. And did very, very well.
And as an old half-forward flanker and a good runner myself, not perhaps doing it in this fashion, but to see Luke O'Sullivan go down and follow the ball and then put it through, a really magnificent effort.
And he really was a bit stiff when you think that G. Ablett kicked that big goal up in Sydney last week. And,
That's right.
But we made a decision and we gave it to Derek Kickett. His second goal yesterday was really something worthwhile having another look at. Spins out of trouble, then has a quick look at the fellow coming from the left, which was Waters, and kicks from, as I said before, 45 metres and puts it through quite convincingly.
And that reminds me of a magnificent goal kicker, Peter Purcell from Port Bunker, the peerless, prodigious punt kicker who pierced the perpendiculars with the pigskin to pinch the prelim and purloin the premiership pennant.
I'll have to have a shower after that, Bruce.
Oh, if Kickett joins Gale, Minch, Kickett and Dacos. Bobby Davis's greatest hits will be on the program next week. That was very good, Bob.
Sounded like pulpit to me.
Now, we had to look at the leading goal kickers, Peter. You'd be interested in this. Dunstall on 91 and Lockett closing on 85. With Kernahan 51, Ablett 50, Longmire 45. Dunstall gets another crack today. Gentlemen, Footscray Geelong, the big match. Bobby Davis, we'll start with you.
I think that Geelong should just win the match.
Will Ablett play? Do you know anything?
Well, I think they will be playing, yes, Bruce.
OK, the other two games?
The other games, certainly Hawthorn should win, and I like Fitzroy also. And Teddy Whitten from Adidas said that he really picked Footscray, not Geelong.
Oh, he did,
It is in the paper.
OK, Robbo?
I think Footscray can bounce back. Scott Wind will play well, and so will Liberatore. I think Melbourne may cause the upset of the Sunday matches, and I think Hawthorn can beat Brisbane.
Peter?
Yes, Geelong, Just, Hawthorn, and I think Melbourne might sneak up too, a roughie.
Tim?
I think Fitzroy will bounce back. Fitzroy, Hawks and Fitzroy.
And so Footscray, Fitzroy and the Hawks, and Ron?
I'm going the same as Tim, except not 2 lots of Fitzroy.
No, you're going for Footscray.
No, I'm going...
You're going for Geelong or
for Geelong.
Oh, Geelong, okay.
But there could be an upset.
Okay, there could be an upset. I wonder where, Ron. We'll take a break and bye, gentlemen. We'll see you next week, and Brooke returns after this.
A 4-time Academy Award winner, including Best Picture, Best Director and Best Actor. 2 stunning performances from 2 of Hollywood's biggest stars, the award-winning Dustin Hoffman and the sensational Tom Cruise. Toyota presents the biggest movie premiere of the year, tonight 8:30, Rain Man on Channel 7.
At BP, our emphasis on research and testing often leaves an impression on our visitors.
4th floor, aviation fuel research. Sixth floor, marine oil testing. Seventh floor, motorsport fuel and oil testing.
And everything we learn from this research, we put to use in a very practical place. Your local BP service station.
Pizza for Ted King? Top floor.
Top floor, space research.
BP, on the move.
When we want to get our carpet really clean, we wash them with our Vax 3-in-1 vacuum cleaner. It's very easy, and the special turbulent washing action gets out all the deep down dirt and grime from carpets and upholstery.
When we want to wash our hard floors, we also use our Vax. And of course, Vax is perfect for regular dry vacuuming.
There's just nothing as good as a Vax.
It's amazing.
No wonder they call it the 3-in-1 cleaning system.
Now more than ever, a lot of businesses are searching for people with a real understanding of their financial needs. Thriving businesses have already found them. CPA, profit from our experience.
Let's go skiing.
The One, a brand new album from Elton John.
In the instant that you love someone, in the second that
The One, 11 new songs recorded in Paris and London.
all I ever needed.
Elton John, The One, the album in your store now.
You're acting really happy. That's not like you at all.
Has Dad's new boat gone to his head?
Once you get it into the bath, will there be enough room for your rubber ducky too?
Hey Dad, 7:30 Wednesday.
Almost at the end of another program. Brooks returned. She's off to Barcelona. Lucky girl this week. But for the latest details, firstly with the Awesome Foursome,
That's
Brooke.
right. It's bad news for the Awesome Foursome. They've been beaten for the first time in 3 years in the final of the Royal Holland Cup Regatta in Amsterdam. Now, after being headed by the US, they never really recovered and ended up finishing in 3rd place, 4 lengths behind the Americans and 1 length behind the Canadians. So that's not such good news for them, but probably shake them up a bit before the game.
Certainly will. And what about Katrine Krabbe, the German sprinter who would have started favourite in the 100 metres? Is she likely to get to the Olympics?
Well, that's all being debated today. A very important day for her today. The International Amateur Athletic Federation is today hearing evidence from the head of the Cologne Drugs Laboratory which originally took these urine samples and found that they all came from the same person. Krabbe, of course, was subsequently banned and stands to lose around $3.5 million in endorsements if that ban is upheld, so extremely important day for her.
So decision day on this weekend. Brian Smith will be filling in for you while you're away, so I'm looking forward to working with him, and have a good trip, Brooke.
Thanks very much. See you there.
All the best. OK, what's coming up on 7 Sport? AFL, Brisbane versus Hawthorn, live at 2 o'clock in Melbourne, Adelaide, and Perth taking that coverage as well. The big game today is Footscray and Geelong. 5 o'clock Melbourne and Perth, and a replay in Adelaide. Just check your guides in Adelaide for that telecast details. Rugby League test coming up. It's the third test, Australia versus Britain, July the 3rd. Now 11:30 in Melbourne, 11 o'clock in Adelaide, 9:45 Perth. So a good idea to just get that out the paper that day and check what time it's on. It's 1-1 in the best of 3 series. Barcelona Olympics, the opening ceremony is on July the 25th, and we're down to 27 days to go until the opening of Barcelona. So we're all looking forward to that. Brooke's on her way this week. And don't forget Sportsworld next Sunday at 9 o'clock. Sandy will be your host next Sunday. I'll be up in Sydney, so hope you can join us then. Hope you've enjoyed the program. Good afternoon.